interesting live stream on my O'Shea Vlogcast channel, go to the first comment and subscribe to that channel. I perform live streams every night. So if you're new to my channel and you want to check out my live streams, go to O'Shea Vlogcast and just subscribe and hit the bell. And yesterday we talked about a particular topic. What has the pro-black community done for black people? And on that show, I had Mr. Fantastic as our opening guest for the first hour before we brought the panel on. And Mr. Fantastic was pretty much saying that the pro-black community does nothing for blacks, but just run their mouth. They are pretty much an incompetent community. They are scammers. They are people who have their hopes in getting things that they're not going to get, like reparations. They blame white people for everything. They are very quiet on issues of black murder, black criminality, and things like that. So these are kind of pretty anti-pro-black community talking points that I've heard before, and some of them are strong. Then we had people that came on the panel disagreed. People like Taz. He says, hey, man, people who take advantage of black people are not pro-black. Those are frauds, right? To be pro-black means that you have to actually do something for black, because pro means for and black. You have to be doing something positive in the black community. You can't be hurting the black community and say that you're pro-black. Those people are out of the question. They're not included in the community. And we went back and forth with a lot of different views on the subject. Now, interestingly enough, I've been exposed to people who are, quote unquote pro-black. Like everybody knows about the Nation of Islam. If you live in the East Coast, you might know about, Clarence 13X, Nation of the Gods and Earths. We know we have the Hebrew Israelite. They have the North American Moorish brothers. You have some brothers in the Hotep community. You have some brothers who are in the atheist community. You have some people who are Pan-African and spiritual people who are black Christians. The pro-black community embodies a lot of different beliefs and a lot of different systems, with a lot of different people from all walks of life. But the consensus is that the pro-black community does nothing. Some people are militant, like the Black Panthers or the new Black Panther Party. But I wanted to give my take on it and discuss what I think the pro-black community does. And I'll use the pro-black community as really referring to what we know as the conscious community. The conscious community gets a lot of slack. Shout out to Brother Sadnetter, who plays a big part. Sarah Suit Seti, people like that. They get criticisms for what people see on social media. People think they're not doing anything and stuff like that. All these people do is lecture and debate. But I want to talk about what these people in the pro-black community really do and what they've done for so many years. The pro-black community, even in the beginning of the early 1900s, the Nation of Islam and stuff like this, they have dedicated years, John Henrik Clarke, people like that, Dr. Amos Wilson, of research and understanding the psyche that has been beat up on African Americans in this country. Okay? If nothing else, the pro-black community, conscious community, they have committed themselves to basically create the narrative that black people are dumb, incompetent, can't do anything, don't have a history. No, what the pro-black community has always done, they've done nothing else. They went out and found out who our inventors were. They went out and found out that we did have kingdoms in Africa, that we were just as valiant as anybody else. The white society might want to bring up all of the negatives, but the pro-black community goes out and they bring out the positives. And that's one of the reasons why you see people in the certain conscious community circles call you king and queen. Well, why is that? Well, everybody can't be a king. Well, everybody can't be a queen. Well, it's better than some of the other words that white folks have called black people before, right? And what the conscious community tries to do in the pro-black community, if nothing else, is to give people a true knowledge of self. Boosting the black person, the African person, the Hebrew Israelites person, to give you, whether it's coming from a religious standpoint or a subjective standpoint, give you knowledge of self, of who you are, and that you can do this. It was the pro-black community that got James Brown from wearing a conch to wearing an afro to saying, I'm black and I'm proud. See, all of these people had an influence even in the sound. And that pro-black movement got all the brothers in Brazil and brothers in Africa and brothers of people to really want to appreciate who they were, thought leaders in this, to show us that, yes, we are equal. We can achieve these great things. In fact, we have been doing it not only in Africa, but we've been doing it here in America. And they educate African Americans on their achievements when we don't know it, because we can't go to school and find it. And if nothing else, this is what they've done. All right. Now I can understand that the conscious community or the pro-black community might not have achieved what some of the other groups have done. They may have their problems and things like this, but do you understand that knowing who you truly can be is the greatest things that the pro-black community has ever done? Now, I'm not talking about some of the other accomplishments that we have done in civil rights, people and different things like that, because we all know about those. But see, they don't get enough credit for just that. Let me also talk about this. When we talk about pro-blacks in the conscious community, we talk about the breakfast program the Black Panther community had. If the pro-black community was so ineffective, why did the U.S. government do whatever they could to disband it? When the Crips started out trying to be pro-black, when the Blood started out trying to be pro-black, when the Black Panther started out giving Black Panthers, giving back to the neighborhoods, why was it stopped? Why was it threatening to the government? Why did they have to feel the need to infiltrate it if it wasn't effective? Why did they want African Americans and Africans not having relationships with each other? And another thing, too, I want to add to this. I know I'm kind of going back and forth. White supremacy, in terms of this, and I'll say that we are affected with it, we really pay little attention to the accomplishments that people make. For example, there are many institutions that are out there, black businesses, black schools, people like Cuba who have institutes that are out there. When we see those institutions that are for black people, we pay very little attention to them. Oh, man, his school ain't nothing. He ain't doing nothing. People who are doing things at black colleges. Oh, well, I ain't sending my kid to that black college. I ain't giving no money to Negro College Fund. Now, you have people who are doing the work. I don't want to deal with that. But whenever somebody black does something stupid, like the Popeyes chicken situation, then here you come wanting to spread the bad news because you got that white supremacy, that the black is lesser mentality. And you guys do it. You know people are like this every day. Whenever black positivity is going around, it gets no attention. We give it no attention. But when black negativity comes, people fighting in the street, people carrying on, those same people who give it low attention and never want to see black folks get built up, you are the same people that want to go out and spread the negativity about these same blacks. And the pro-black community, in my opinion, don't get enough credit or doesn't get enough credit for what they do. You have schools. You have pro-black academics. You have pro-black doctors. You have a lot of things. Let me say this real quick. People think the pro-black community is monolithic. And although I knew it was never monolithic, it's more diverse than what I thought. Shout out to George because he talked to me about this. You have pro-blacks who are academics. Dr. Amos Nelson, right? You have so many pro-blacks who are, let's say like the brother Sonetter. He might not be an academic, but he's on the street and he gathers people. He connects people. You know what I mean? That's a gift in itself. You know, people like Dr. Frances Cress Wilson, she wouldn't necessarily go out and be connecting people, but she's an academic. You have people who go out and they street preach. You have people that go talk about business, like Dr. Claude Anderson. You have people who are accountants, people who are, enforcers. The pro-black community has every other thing that any other community has. In the Italian mafia, you have people who enforce, people who made money for the organization. And the pro-black community is no different. Everybody does their part. Could it be better? Of course. But some people are going to be the ones street preaching. Some people are going to be the ones debating. Some people are going to be the ones with the business. Some people are going to be the ones doing this and that. Everybody has their role in this. And the thing that I want to start to say is, yes, there's problems. No doubt about it. But we got to understand that nobody has tried to teach black people about the beauty that we have and who we really are than that conscious community, than that pro-black community. Nobody else did it. Not the Baptist Church, not the National Baptist Association. It was the pro-black community. They were the ones that were debating white folks, Malcolm X, people like that. They didn't accept what white folks talked about us and said that we were inferior. They're the ones that did the history and the research and stuff like that for hours upon hours, going to Ghana, going to wherever else. And I think they deserve some credit. But anyways, guys, what do you think about this? Let me know. Shout out to everybody. That's my take on it. And as you know, the buffoonery remained at all-time high. I'm out.